she's like, when we put her, like, she makes the moves and all that. I just stay, play goalkeeper. I pass the ball. You know what I mean? Like
in their relationship.
Hey, come on. Yo, what is going on? And welcome to another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, the beautiful game of life, part of the Believe Network. I am Ramsey Afushala, editor of urbanpitch.com. We got the co-executive directors of Vibes in the building, Bridget Flores, Julio Monterosa. What's going on, y'all?
What up?
Taking a step back from like Vibes because producer here told me to relax.
He's on a performance improvement plan. Dude, I leave for 1 week and I come back to a chaos.
You know, there's no chaos here. We're just keeping things, business as usual. But we do. It's our first guest in a while.
Yeah.
We haven't had a guest in a minute. And so we brought on a guy. He's all over MLS coverage. This guy doesn't sleep. He's doing stuff.
The hustle.
Yeah, he's hustling. This
guy's busy. You know really well.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed they do. We have our guy.
Big in the LA scene.
Yeah. Eli Lesser is here in the building. Eli, you might know him as This Week in MLS. Eli, what's going on, man?
I am great. It's very interesting to be, surrounded by 3 LAFC fans. It's not every day.
Okay.
There you go.
Hey.
Undeclared.
So I'm undeclared.
Undeclared.
Yeah. So
okay.
we've gone over this a couple times.
We can make it 2v2 tonight.
2v2.
Okay.
Listen, I'm neutral because I'm one, a coward, and two, like,
business as usual. No,
conscious
all business
of what both teams bring to the table in terms of just soccer to LA, and LA wins.
Such a boring response.
I agree with you. I tried to stay as neutral as possible for as long as I could, but there came a time where I really needed to show my colors, and my colors.
And you chose black and gold.
No, mine are blue, white, and gold. But people think I hate LAFC and LAFC fans. I actually don't, which is so funny.
Right.
I like to poke fun at everyone, and every time I poke fun at LAFC, it's always oh, he's a Galaxy fan. Of course he's doing it. And I do it to all 29 MLS clubs. So who cares?
Can I ask you? What? I just wanted to know, what made you a LA Galaxy fan? Like, where does that come from for you?
Yeah, so I didn't even know what soccer was until David Beckham came to the Galaxy. So that's my first exposure to the sport. I had a grandpa who watched European soccer or football. And, when Beckham came to the Galaxy, he wanted to go see Beckham play. And that's when I first, started watching the sport in general. And, I started my page in 2015. And, by then I was already, a certified Galaxy fan. And, when LAFC came in 2018, I couldn't switch. So, I was already in too deep. And, I just, the reason why I watched the sport in the first place was because of the Galaxy. So that's why Galaxy still.
That makes sense. It's family ties. You create a different type of bond when you have family related into it.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So you didn't grow up playing soccer?
So I started playing soccer very late. I tried to pick it up in middle school and high school. I wasn't the best. I was a great goalkeeper because I was a catcher in baseball. But in terms of on-field positions, I was, straight garbage, and I could admit that.
Just like Ramsey.
Yeah, just like me, bro.
I was
Seriously.
just gonna say.
I can only play goalkeeper. I can only play.
And that's only because he's tall.
Yeah, it's seriously only because So listen, I can only play small-sided goalkeeper because I take up like 3/4 of the net. Yeah. So if I just make myself big, you can't score on me.
He's super competitive. So
don't
get him started because he might be not the best player, but he's gonna be in your face, talking trash.
Listen,
that's me.
You can't change who you are.
Exactly. Shout out to Mal, 'cause she's a baller. His girl.
Yeah, my girlfriend played in college.
She carries the team.
She carries the team.
Yeah. So she's like, when we put her, like, she makes the moves and all that. I just stay, play goalkeeper. I pass the ball. You know what I mean?
In their relationship.
Hey, come on. There's nothing wrong with that, but listen, let's.
She's my number one inspiration. I want to be like her when I grow up.
let's stay on topic here, but so.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchups reports for baseball, boxing, golfing, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games, available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
So you mentioned you couldn't make the switch over to LAFC when they came in the league in 2018. What have you seen them bring to the table in terms of LA soccer? Because one thing that I see as a more neutral perspective is what LAFC brought is they kind of lifted everything. They say rising tide lifts all ships, and they made LA Galaxy kind of get more competitive because for a while they were the only. I mean, they had the Chivas USA, but like for a while they were the only they were the premier LA team,
yeah.
And now all of a sudden they start kind of looking over their shoulder, improving like things that the community impact or whatever it is. But what have you seen as a Galaxy fan since LAFC came?
So Galaxy fans watching this, just mute everything for a little bit because I'm going to compliment LAFC. But I think first of all, LAFC have done a terrific job at branding themselves in LA. For a while when LAFC came into LA, we saw just as many LAFC hats with the the LA logo as Dodger hats, and it's very hard to compete with the Dodger hat. I'm literally wearing one right now.
Right.
So in terms of branding, LAFC did a great job. I think black and gold is a great colorway to wear, which is important to get people into the sport. It's all about the style. It's all about the street culture. But then, on field, bringing in a guy like Carlos Vela to start things off, that's huge for, the Los Angeles area population. And I think LAFC, should be motivating the Galaxy to do better. And, we haven't quite seen that necessarily from the Galaxy front office until, a couple months ago. Yeah. But, it's just they're supposed to be the best thing to ever happen to the Galaxy, but they're actually becoming the worst because they're supposed to, keep the Galaxy in check, make sure that we're still, doing the best we can to be elite because we didn't have that pressure before. And now there's a tremendous amount of pressure, and now it's all about, how we can deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, but I feel like Galaxy, the thing with Galaxy, once they got Beckham, they didn't become MLS team. They wanted to become the world team.
Yeah.
They got people like Ashley Cole. Forgot the guy from Netherlands. They got
Nigel de Jong for like half a season.
Yeah, half a
worst
season.
thing ever.
But they got all these big names and they got lost in the sauce because they were not trying to bring a young player that was good. They wanted to bring a bigger name that was already on the way out because that was old MLS. Atlanta United came and they switched it all up. They got all these South Americans that did great. One of them is in Europe, doing great.
Yeah,
and then LAFC came in and just took that Atlanta United culture and blew it up and made to the point we got Bell. Bell was the biggest name besides Beckham, but Bell was the biggest name to come to MLS till Messi just said
Right.
coming. So I think Galaxy just got lost in that thing of just not being known as the best MLS team. They wanted to be ranked with the Barcelonas, the Real Madrids, and that's where they got lost. And MLS started shifting, and they saw themselves outside looking in.
Yeah.
I think a hard thing for the Galaxy was when Bruce Arena left the club to go back to the USMNT. I think from that point on, the Galaxy kind of lost the sauce, and they kind of lost, everything that made them the best team, and they were just so focused on trying to replicate the past and not adapting to the way MLS is changing. And I'm hoping now with the Galaxy stealing someone from LAFC's front office, Will Kuntz, if he could come in and bring in some of that LAFC stuff and ideologies to the Galaxy. I'm not afraid of stealing. The Galaxy could take something, make it better, hopefully. And, I'm hoping that, not this season, but next season, we start to see real changes in the Galaxy culture from within. Because I think the Galaxy culture from outside has always been there, and it hasn't left. I know a lot of people may disagree, but I think the fans have done a great job at, still being Galaxy fans and showing up, because even with LAFC, sure, a lot of Galaxy fans left the Galaxy to join LAFC, but they still had the attendance numbers throughout the years. It's just it's tough when your team makes the playoffs twice in 6 years.
Yeah.
In a league where 60% of the teams make the playoffs in the first place. So LAFC's done a great job at making a winning culture, but the Galaxy have the global recognition, and they need to take advantage of that, especially now that Messi is in MLS. The Galaxy should be like, we're going to get in, even like a Ronaldo, we need to make that statement to show that we're still the globally recognized brand of MLS, because Inter Miami is putting even more pressure on the Galaxy than LAFC was in terms of like a global perspective.
Yeah. Before we get into, because I want to get into that too, but we just had the over 80,000 fans at the Rose Bowl.
Sir.
We were all there. It was a mess to get in and out.
Oh my God. An hour and
It
a
was
half.
a mess to get to my seats.
Yeah.
Oh my, because of her.
Because of me.
What happened?
Yeah.
I don't know. What
Took
happened?
forever.
I mean, do you
No,
want
it's gonna take like an hour just to explain this.
Bridget was
I don't
just
remember.
she was just back from her
From Mexico.
like her month-long
I was
vacation in Mexico.
Yeah. Literally the next day I went to the Rose Bowl game.
Yeah, and she brought the
the
whole
Mexican vibe.
Yeah. She was doing the whole thing.
Brought the flag and I went to the wrong game.
Yeah. So, but we all had our own perspectives and experiences there. But what were your thoughts and experiences like at the Rose Bowl for such a historic match?
So obviously it might have been a bit better for me than for you two.
Yeah.
But, first of all, just from like a neutral perspective, and as someone who's covered MLS for almost 8 years now, it honestly made everything feel valid. Everything that I've worked for over the last 8 years, seeing that type of atmosphere for an MLS match, there's nothing better that I've ever witnessed in my life. And I'm so blessed that I was able to go in person, first of all, because so many people had to watch on TV, but just being there in person was just
Losers.
so incredible. And I even teared up when I got there and the match started, and seeing both crowds, because a lot of people expect the LAFC crowd to be like way bigger and way better than the Galaxy crowd, but the Galaxy crowd very much held their own in that regard with the flares and all that stuff. I mean, it was very 50-50. I know people are like, oh, it was actually 51-49, all that BS. But no, it was really awesome. And, we were talking about this before the show, but I think, this type of match and this type of vibe could solidify El Trafico as one of the world derbies,
No, and it definitely, growing up, going to games since '96, my dad used to take me. Just seeing, even though once I got to the stadium, I had to, before meeting up with these two, I was a little late, like always. Meeting up with these, I had to just stand and look around, just take a deep breath in. I'm like, wow, growing up, coming to these games, from what it was to one little section to the whole stadium, taking 30 minutes to even get into the stadium. It shows that MLS in this short time, I've said this before in the pod, La Liga, EPL, they've been since the 1800s.
Hundreds of years. Yeah,
hundreds of years. What we've been done in 27 years, it shows that in the next 10 years we could be one of the best leagues in the world.
Oh, and I fully believe that we will be. It's just a matter of time. And, having a rivalry this iconic is just, part of the starting point. I think a lot of players from around the world must have watched El Trafico and they're like, hey, I want to be a part of this. Hey, I did El Clasico, I did Boca River, I want to do this one now. And, this could only help the sport in America. And, I'm hoping that, and I can guarantee that people went to that match and that was their first ever soccer match. And they're like, wow, this is the best thing I've ever been to in my life. Because for me it was, but I think you don't even have to be a soccer fan to enjoy what happened that night, and also the fireworks afterwards.
Yeah, that was amazing. I think you bring up a good point. I think that definitely set a tone for how far MLS has come, and this is just the beginning of what the future holds for MLS. Especially for those two teams in LA, I think that there's a lot that can happen between that rivalry in a good way that'll benefit both sides, not just one or the other, but both sides, and more specifically the LA culture with soccer, because I think it's slowly but surely growing with these two teams.
And to give credit to both teams, most of the tailgates you saw black and gold and white and blue. There was Galaxy fans, they were all intermingling. There was a little bit of drama, but not really what everybody expected to be to be a shit show. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But honestly, the way it was set up, Galaxy fans, LAFC fans, not in the stadium because they try to split them up as much as they can.
Yeah.
But outside, you see them barbecuing together, taking shots together.
People held their own.
Yeah, like, it's amazing.
There was like a few scuffles, but that's
Security
always going to
jumped in it
happen.
quick.
But it
That's
wasn't
always
like
going to
chaos.
happen. Yeah, but one thing that I noticed when we were walking around, like they had the LAFC entries and the LA Galaxy entries, and we saw a couple of fans venturing into enemy territory just because
it was shorter.
The whole
or
thing
something.
was like just very confusing,
chaotic,
and chaotic. There's so many people trying to get in. The lines were super long, and so that you had a scenario where Galaxy fans were trying to cut through LAFC lines, or the vice versa. LAFC fans were cutting through, and it was like mostly like there was the booze and all that stuff. But it was like
that's good banter though.
It was more like banter. It wasn't like genuine, like threatening, like menacing.
Like
not like when I went to the LA Galaxy tailgate when they cussed me out. Said I'm son of somebody.
It wasn't
that.
It wasn't like people actually threatening Julio and saying stuff about his mom and all that kind of stuff.
She's a nice lady. She's at home resting.
Yeah. But it was more like, like just like more fun, like boo, everybody.
Exactly.
And to me, that was really cool to see that you do want there to be some kind of animosity, and you do want there to be like a level of conflict, but because conflict's always interesting, but you never want it to spill over into like actual fisticuffs. So I think from what I saw, at least being there, like there was a good mix of that, that clash without the actual physical clash.
Yeah, I think the thing that I always tell, because I actually, believe it or not, I might have as many LAFC friends as I have Galaxy friends. And what I always tell the LAFC friends is we're rivals, not enemies. And I think that is like a very strong way to encapsulate the rivalry as a whole, because, at the end of the day, we're all just people. We're all supporting the league. And for me personally, as like an MLS creator, I have love for anyone who's supporting MLS
definitely
in any regard. That's a big thing for me. And we could have different teams. You guys might be on Chiellini's side. I'm very much on Ricky Puig's side. But
all right, so before we can go further, all right, how old is Ricky?
23, 22. Yeah.
Who was Chiellini defending at 23?
I know.
All right, so let's leave it there. All right, continue with your.
He said he pulled the Zlatan. He pulled the Zlatan.
Yeah,
He reversed.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
No, but Rick. First of all, I called it in the beginning of the season. I said Ricky for MVP. Started off slow, but Ricky is him. Ricky is him.
And I think those signings like Ricky are the best thing for the league possible. If you could get a player like that at that age to come to MLS, and you could get a bunch of those across all teams, I don't want, I'd love the Galaxy to get many, but, I don't need them all hoarded on one team. That's what's really going to help raise the bar of the league, aside from players who are, going to come for 1 year or half a season like Gareth Bale. You want the players that could really become household names in MLS.
The ones that are going to stick around.
And definitely another name. Like I feel like quietly, LA Galaxy had the best last three signings of all MLS. Costa, everybody was mad at him. First of all, Costa came in. I talked trash about him.
On him, but
but the last 3-4 games, Costa.
He's been putting in work.
Oh my God!
Okay,
it's
but the bar for him was already so low because of how he started.
And he could have kept it low.
But he's from here to like top of the MLS now.
But you had feelings about, because who are the other signings that you're talking about?
I was a real big Brugman fan.
Yeah.
I thought he was a great signing. Then we have Neil. I have a low key man crush on Neil.
That's okay.
I just think he's a stud.
Okay.
I think he's a stud. I think he's gonna be the next MLS player to go high in Europe. He's gonna be the U.S. men's national team center back for the future.
Best player at the Gold Cup, by the way. Aside from Matt Turner,
and upset that he was hurt. He playing against Panama. Panama schooled us, but whatever. Brugman, Costa, Puig, Boyd, another stud.
Yeah, Boyd's just.
Yeah, that was an impressive one, because he's had a whirlwind of a career. Like over the last few years, he was playing for a major club in Turkey, and they had some sort of roster kerfuffle where they weren't allowed to play him. So he was literally just sitting for 2 years just at Besiktas. and then they bring him in on a free, and that's huge. Galaxy have always had one LAFC killer on the roster. First it was Latan, then it was Grand Seer of all people, and now Tyler Boyd. It's important for us.
He had the memories come back to him.
He was good. I don't know why LA guys let him go.
Yeah,
I think he wanted to go. He wanted. I think he was homesick. A lot of MLS players, they get homesick and stuff. I remember for LAFC, like Laurent Simon.
He got
first captain.
First goal,
first captain.
Yeah.
No, he was very homesick, so he had to leave.
He went back to Bruges. Right?
Yeah, he had to. Yeah, it's just a bunch of that stuff. With a lot of foreign players, oftentimes their families can't move with them. Latif Blessing just recently reunited with his family.
That's crazy.
After 5 years, which is crazy. Shout out to him. He's one of the few LFC, or actually I like a lot of LFC players, but everyone.
Name him.
He just has something else.
I'll tell you about that later. But yeah. Right now.
No. We don't have to. We really don't have to get into that.
I do have a question for everyone though, but our guests can answer first.
Sure.
Do you all think that the El Trafico should be something that happens at the Rose Bowl on a annual basis?
I do think it should. However, I do think LAFC and the Galaxy, and this is a hot take, they need to play each other less.
Yes.
Agree.
I
100% agree.
Yeah?
I agree.
Yeah, you're diluting
Right.
the games, because this is what we're doing 2 more games, because if they win against Leon, they might play in the Nations League.
Because then you get the Gold Cup, now Nations, or not Nations, Leagues Cup. What did I say? I said Gold Cup. I meant to say Open Cup. Yeah, Open Cup.
They always rig that so that we play each
it's
other.
100% rigged. It was 100% rigged. There's no way.
When the pot is Galaxy, LAFC, and then Colorado, Real Salt Lake, obviously they're gonna put the Rocky Mountain teams in El Trafico.
Yeah.
I just think
they did this.
Yeah. It's
one of the envelopes was colder. Yeah.
I play Mario Party with my friends, and there's this thing where there's these team mini games, and you could select random.
Yeah.
But you select random until you get the team you want. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So it's that's what happens. But I think I do think it should be at the Rose Bowl every year. But I would love the Galaxy and LAFC to only play each other twice.
Right.
And and then a third time in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Rose Bowl and Coliseum.
Yeah. I don't want to play. I don't want an El Trafico Open Cup. It didn't feel like a good victory when the Galaxy A team beat the LAFC kids.
Right.
It just doesn't feel good. You want it to be as intense as possible, and it takes away from it the more times you play it. Like a USA Mexico, I don't want to play them 5 times a year.
Yeah, but I mean, what you said, the Coliseum one game, the Rose Bowl another game, or even SoFi, or throwing these other stadiums.
I definitely agree on the 2 games a year, but it's just Rose Bowl is tough.
Yeah,
because if you make it,
I hate the Coliseum, but let's do Coliseum.
Yeah.
It's a little closer to
it's close to
transportation.
LAFC for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you get 80,000 people at a game. That's a proof of concept right there. That's 20. That's 4 times what you would be getting if you were to put it at the bank or BMO or Dignity Health.
I don't know if it was a planned thing, but around the 75th minute, I wanted to get beer, and I went to 4 different places. We're completely sold out. For the time, they're we're completely sold out. No more. I'm what's going on here?
They cut it. What's the minute that they cut it off? I don't know.
I feel like when I go to NBA games and stuff, shortly after halftime, they
it's the third quarter.
Like the third quarter,
7th inning in Dodger games. I don't. It's the
7th
70th minute.
LAFC cut it off 3 hours after the game.
After.
Yeah.
Not before.
Well, you can just go get them at you can get 2 for $5 if you wait to go to the hot dog lady.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
Cerveza, 2 for $5.
Yo, I was walking back to my car on the golf course. They're doing 2 for $5, 3 for $5. They're just trying to get rid of
They were selling shots
Modelo's.
for $5. I'm
Yeah.
Okay.
Sold.
Yeah. But so I want to get into some of the U.S. men's national team stuff. But first, covering MLS. How did that all start? How did this week in MLS start? What made you get into that?
It's actually a very random thing, and it was kind of a coincidence that I started this week in MLS. So I used to go to a sports broadcasting camp, and I used to be a huge baseball guy. As a baseball player, I was a huge Dodger fan and MLB fan, but I also watched a little bit of MLS. This is before I was really, really into it. I watched a bit of MLS, NBA always, and I go to this broadcasting camp, and the first day I walk in with a gray hoodie and a Dodger hat. There's 100 other dudes in there wearing a gray hoodie and a Dodger hat. And at first I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Sounds like LA.
I was like, I am meeting all these people that are just like me. And then I quickly found out, if you want to be a sports broadcaster, there's so much competition and stuff. And I was like, oh no, all these people are just like me. And this is me as like a 13, 14-year-old. And I realized at that camp, I was the only person that knew anything about MLS. And there was a little podcasting network that, they made out of just like from kids that went to that camp. And I was like, you know what? This time next year, I'm going to come back and I'm going to make an Instagram page about MLS and I'm going to make a podcast about MLS. I'm going to be the MLS guy of this camp, just of the camp, like that was it. And I started This Week in MLS and, the first few years I just posted podcasts and put these news graphics. I posted news that look like, if you know the Instagram account, All Sports News, it's like a basic, photo in the middle, white border, and you put the text in the white borders.
Right. Yeah,
That's just what I posted like for the first few years. And then I didn't realize that it would become like an actual thing for me. It was just, kind of just a fun thing. But actually, around the time LAFC came into the league was around the time I actually started to like gain traction. So I guess thank you guys. But
We do what we
Thank
can.
you, next.
yeah. But when LAFC came in the league, I was always going to be a Galaxy fan, but I really tried to hide, which team I supported. And, throughout the years, a lot of LAFC players were really nice to me. They helped me. My favorite soccer player ever actually played for LAFC, which is the only time I ever, even for a second, thought I would switch over. But Lee Win he's my favorite soccer player of all time. From his time with the Revolution, I just thought he was the coolest player. And when I saw LAFC sign him, I was like, damn. And also Benny Fahlhaber. You see, I'm Jewish. He's Jewish. I was like, holy crap. He's coming to LAFC. Like, LAFC signed a bunch of players that I really like to start. So I was like, you know what? I'm a Galaxy guy, but I'm gonna lay under the radar. I'm not gonna say anything. And then I joined actually an LAFC show, 110 Football. And then a lot of Galaxy people started to believe I was an LAFC fan. And that really bothered me because they really turned on me. And I was like, wait, no, I don't like this. This isn't what I want. And, when my time with 110 Football ended, I wanted to make it like clear where I stood.
He was a Trojan.
Yeah.
had everybody in the horse.
Well, no, and I heard a lot of LAFC people. A lot of people that work at LAFC are very pissed off at me. But I felt like because I claim to be I'm a content creator, not a journalist, and I think that there's a big difference in that. And it's always about transparency, and I want people to know where I'm coming from, how I see the game with what I make. And I think it is important. A lot of people think, you have to be as neutral as possible forever, but I think that wouldn't be authentic for me to hide that anymore. So when I was done with 110 Football, I was gonna release myself as a Galaxy fan. It was kind of like a soft launch, and then it became more of a hard launch when I joined ACB publicly, and that got a lot of people pissed off at me, but that was a personal decision, not a business decision. I knew it was the worst business decision possible, but my best friend and I have been going to Galaxy matches forever. We always look at ACB chanting and we're like, we want to be a part of that, so we joined it. Just for anyone out there, I have no part in any of the drama between supporter groups and stuff. I'm just there for the vibes, so don't come at me for that. I just have a lot lot of friends that are there. I'm not a part of any of their.
It's a very measured
anything that happens.
That,
yeah. On any side, for
Sure.
LAFC fans to know, I'm just there because the Galaxy are my team and I want to chant for them. That's literally why I'm a part of a supporter group now. And it also, sometimes I'm so focused on the grind of content all the time that, I lose the personal love for what I'm doing and the love of the game. And every time I go to a match for ACB, that reignites it for me in a way. It keeps the passion going alive. So that's why I joined that. But when I joined publicly, that's when, I became kind of the biggest villain to LAFC
And
for 3 months. And then I told everyone, I don't want this. I was like, I'm not going to instigate anything. I had a video ready after the Rose Bowl match, and I was like, I'm not going to post this. It's not a good idea.
I don't think LAFC Rich would have been happy.
Hey, bro, I could breathe, and LAFC Rich wouldn't be happy. But, Rich, I have nothing against you. I get why you don't like me, but it's okay, bro. It's it's bigger than black and white, as you can see. White for Galaxy, black for LAFC.
He's to his credit, he stays true to where he comes from.
And I commend him for that.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on how I think he's made LAFC fans not great, but also he's done a great job for what he's done for the club. And I don't. I'm a huge Blink-182 fan. I grew up, being a Blink-182 fan, and the biggest thing that they taught me is don't take life seriously. So I don't take things seriously. I know he does personally, and I just, I have no problems with you, Rich, if you're watching. Like, I would love to get a drink with you, and we could hash it out. Yeah, just don't ban me from the bank. That's all I ask from you, bro. I went to an LAFC match last year after the whole stuff went down. Went down with me and him, and dude, I got the scariest death stare I've ever gotten in my life from him. But it's okay. Like I said, Rich, I got nothing against you. We can still be boys. I know. That's probably not what you want, but just letting you know, I'm always here for you, I guess. And yeah, no hard feelings. I get it. It's great to turn on me because I'm a Galaxy guy, and everyone needs a villain. But I don't think you guys are looking in the right direction.
Yeah. So when you get stuff like that, regardless from who it is, whether it's because obviously being an MLS fan in general is gonna generate some kind of feelings or vitriol or just negative comments or so whether it's from being a Galaxy fan or MLS fan or just whatever it is that you post, being so public facing, how do you deal with stuff like that when that comes up?
It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. Also, it was LAFC stuff. It's I get clapped by the pro rel for USA people all the time,
right, yeah,
which get a life. And I've even just being openly Jewish is a hard thing sometimes too, because people always expect me to have an answer for things that happen. You just gotta, like I said, not take anything too seriously, especially on Twitter. Nothing that's ever been said to me on Twitter I've ever had to face to face. I've received death threats and stuff from LAFC fans, but then when I go to LAFC matches, they're all like, "Hey Eli, what's up? Appreciate what you do. Oh, you're a Galaxy guy, but you're all vibes. It's okay." So you just know that nothing could ever really happen to you on that type of thing, and also just know that if someone is spending that energy on hating on you, that means they don't have anything positive to spend their energy on. And just for me, it's always important to have other things I'm interested in, and a world outside of just posting about MLS, and that's what keeps me grounded and sound. But I've become better at it. Sometimes I get too much, and I'm like, "Yo, guys, I don't want to be a part of this. Just leave me alone."
Mm-hmm.
And I know people are like, "Oh, well, you're a public figure. You have to be able to deal with this." But sometimes it's I just
Mm-hmm.
leave me alone. I just want to post my videos and leave. And that's a big thing for me. I try not to spend too much time just online in general.
Mm-hmm.
I try, and just in the soccer space in general, I try to focus on making my stuff, putting it out there, and then leaving, and then enjoying the rest of my day. I have so many other hobbies. Even with MLS being my passion, I know a lot of people believe it's got to be 24/7. That would kill me, personally. So yeah.
So don't read the comments.
Don't read the comments. Twitter, I really don't spend enough or a lot of time on anymore, just because of all the negativity. Instagram, people like me there. It's a lot more comfortable there.
What about TikTok?
TikTok, there's so many brain dead responses.
TikTok, there's no filter on it.
They be coming for you.
They're rough, but also so dumb. No offense. I got comments where I was like, Kai Kamara, he's a great player.
Yeah.
and he scored a goal and he was doing well for the Chicago Fire or whatever. And he was like, I got comments being like, yo, I thought he was like, no, they were like, no, he's on Montreal. He's not on Chicago. I'm like, bro, like, like there's people. Just
I don't blame them because he's
IQ.
played for like
Everybody.
9 different teams at this point.
But when I'm posting a goal from that night,
yeah.
With that
him being on
jersey?
with that jersey, I'm like, no, he's on Montreal, dude. I'm like, I don't know. I don't read TikTok comments because they're just, I don't know. When I want a good laugh, I do.
Yeah.
Me too.
Twitter is brutal. Reddit, I stay off of. And, Instagram's always been my home.
Yeah.
And that's
It's a
where I've
safe
always
space.
started.
So follow me on Thread.
Threads. Threads is so clutch. As someone who has like a following on Instagram, I already have more followers on Threads than on
No
Twitter
way.
in like 2 days.
Damn.
I know Threads has already died, low key. Like, I mean, people.
After a week.
I mean, yeah. I noticed people stopped viewing things on Threads, but I was hoping Threads could take over Twitter because I would just rather not be on Twitter. I don't like that app. I never did. I was always on it just to like, see what was happening in MLS,
Right.
and then I was told, oh, the sports world runs on Twitter. So I was like, oh, I have to be on Twitter, but I hate Twitter. I don't like that app. And everyone knows that I don't like that app, which is why I think they're starting to stay away from me. Because everyone wants a fight that like someone's going to fight back in.
Yeah.
And now they know I'm not going to fight back. They're like, okay, whatever. And it's not going to help my growth because, you grow on Twitter by beefing with people.
Right.
But, I don't have time for beefs. I don't have time for any of that. I just, there's always something bigger than that, happening around everything. So I don't know. I hate Twitter, but I'm on it, and yeah, I have some great friends on there, but also some people who really don't like me, and I actually don't dislike anyone really, except for Pro-Rel USA.
The Pro-Rel,
people. I hate those people.
the second you do anything pro, they come out quick. Like especially on Twitter, like
Bro,
they're
I got
relentless.
attacked the other day, but I got the best ratio ever because everyone piled on this dude. This dude quote tweeted. I do these fan reaction videos, which I put on jerseys of every team. I act like I'm one of them. I'm actually.
Yeah, I've seen it. We've seen
I'm not
it.
Funny. Week
Yeah.
24.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry for you guys, but I was actually told that I'm not allowed to use LAFC anymore in those because of
Really?
what happened last year. Yes. So I can't be LAFC.
What happened
anymore.
last year?
Just what happened with the whole situation with Rich and that stuff. It kind of resulted in them being like, well, first of all, I was told I was not worthy to wear their jersey. But it's just I was
You
told
get the right size.
Yeah, well, no, I was just I was told I can't wear their stuff anymore and use them in that, and it's fine. I don't want to cause problems. That's like a big thing for me. I don't want to cause problems, so it's like okay. But with the fan reaction videos, I got quote tweeted by a big Pro-Rel guy, and he was like, MLS is paying people to be fans, hashtag Pro-Rel for USA.
Oh, that's a big like conspiracy that the league is paying people to make these tifos.
We're not the Qatar World Cup guys. Like,
right. Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, exactly.
If he gets out there, his phone is gonna be wiped out. Like
Yeah. So I quote tweeted being like, "Yo, I wish MLS paid me," and that got everyone to not attack this guy, but like, bro, like, are you serious? And then this dude kept trying to win against me, and I was like, bro, I'm literally a guy who just graduated college. I live in my parents' house and I make videos from my bedroom. Like, what do you expect? Like, and they're like, but MLS is paying you to do that, right? I'm like, yeah, they're paying me to be in my parents' house. Like, like I don't know.
You're a family man.
It's stupid.
Family
Everyone,
man.
Hey, I mean, it's free rent and free
Right.
food. And I love my parents. I got no problems with them, but I'd like a job so I could, start my life. But it's just so funny, and it's great how I get all these talks with people a lot, but then I realize sometimes just how much love you can get as well. And so many people piled on being like, yo, how would you do this to Eli? He's just like a guy who's passionate about the league. How hard for you to understand is that? Because it's really hard for people to understand that MLS has genuine fans, all because there's no promotion relegation. But like, we're all genuine fans of the sport, and we want it, and we love the league. We love our teams. You love two teams now, but
You can't decide.
I
We're
can't
gonna
decide.
clip that.
I'm a fence
You're gonna
sitter.
clip that.
Yeah, no, that'll be on the clip. Yeah,
But no,
yeah.
we're like, it's so hard for people to understand that like MLS can have a genuine fan base. They like to say, oh, MLS are just franchises and single entity, but like other, they don't understand American sports, or if they do, they're clinging on to something that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as much as they think it does. You know, I would love promotion relegation MLS, but that's not my priority. That's not what I'm focused on. I'm just focused on growing, you know, the fans of the league. That's the important thing.
Growth.
So in other words, MLS, please pay all of us.
Yes, pay all of us, MLS.
Send us a check.
Don, I know Don's watching this. Don comments on our videos, so
send us a check. Thank you.
Yeah.
By the way, Don, I dapped you up at MLS Cup last year, which means we're homies now. If you want to, slide me a job, that would also be great.
Yeah, well, I think we should leave it on that. Like that's a good place to finish up.
Wait. I have 2 questions really quick.
Okay, go for it.
Your
Corner.
favorite? Yep. Welcome to Bridges Corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your favorite stadium you visited so far in MLS, and your favorite or like the most hyped supporter section you've witnessed.
Okay. Because I'm a Galaxy fan, I'm not gonna, give LAFC credit here. But
it sounds like he just gave
no.
LAFC Rich, see?
Okay.
Like you.
Aside from Galaxy and LA, they can't.
Yeah,
be
because
included.
personally, my personal thing, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, Victoria
Right.
Block, we're the best, or
Right.
LAFC does a great job with their crowd. I think they have some cool chants that are
Right.
unique. And I think the Galaxy do too. I think a lot of MLS clubs do not, which is
Galaxy.
everyone does.
That's what I want to know. Aside from LA, where?
Yeah,
Give us
I'd
your
say
take.
the craziest one that I've seen, and I am about to go to Nashville soon, so we'll see about that. But Cincinnati was really, really great.
Yeah?
they have
I
a
was
great
there
fan base.
for Hella's Real Derby against
Oh, I
the
saw your
Columbus
video.
Crew.
Yeah.
And that was an amazing crowd. And I think a lot of the newer clubs are doing a very good job with
Yeah.
their supporter
Bringing that
sections. So that's the best one I've been to so far. But, I have a Nashville trip. I have a St. Louis trip planned. So, we'll see. I know those are very hyped
Okay.
up. And then what was the other one? The other thing you said? So best supporter section was Cincy.
best like stadium you
Stadium. I gotta say NYC. No, kidding. Well, speaking of Ohio,
MLS does pay him.
I loved Columbus, actually. I guess we're staying in Ohio.
Okay.
I made a video this past week saying Ohio is not mid.
Right, yeah,
and Ohio is not mid in terms of MLS. So
Okay.
I think I was at their stadium opener for their newer stadium. Beautiful place. I'm excited for the All-Star game to be there last year. And then best attention that I've received at a stadium was Philly.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Last year, for some reason, I have a good Philly contingent of This Week in MLS followers, and they probably treated me the best, as like from the club down to the fans. They treated me the best, and now we have a common enemy. But
Right.
yeah. It was I really enjoy Philly and their fans, which is funny because I hate all their other teams. The Phillies, as a Dodger fan, traumatized me as an 8 and 9 year old.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say those were the best ones. Can I tell you a hot take?
Sure.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Do it.
That's what we live for.
I might get, no, I'm not going to get murked. And I guess LAFC fans would be happy about this one, but most overrated one I've been to in terms of supporters were the Portland Timbers.
Ooh, overrated.
They're always in everybody's top 5
Yeah.
lists.
Yeah.
My reasoning, and they were loud when they were loud, but I went to MLS Cup in 2021 when it was them versus NYCFC.
Yeah.
And what happened is NYC scored a goal early, and until then, Timbers Army was electric, amazing, and then they were silent for the entire match until they scored in the
late equalizer,
93rd
right? Yeah.
minute, and then they were back on their feet and amazing. But that was like a shocking experience for me because I was so ready to be like, Portland has the best fans in MLS, they have the best stadium atmosphere in MLS, and it was amazing until NYCFC scored. And supporter sections, you got to keep going no
Consistency.
matter what, as pissed off as you get after you give up a goal. And that's where I think I'm going to say both LA teams to be neutral here do a great job, because I feel like the supporter groups regardless are lit. And LAFC, it's easier when you're a winning team, but for the Galaxy, they've really proven that they are, very strong when things get rough. And, I'd say the Klein out protest even prove that they're strong. I know people say that's weak, that they're not showing up when their team is not doing, but they, it set a precedent or a present for, president for MLS clubs, hey, we're not content with being mediocre as the pro rel people think we are. So Yeah, Portland Timbers, I think, were slightly overrated. I still think it was a good atmosphere, but I left disappointed, which is not what you want.
They're gonna come for you.
Yeah.
Hey, I have friends, Timbers Army. You know, I love Timber Joey. I love the gimmick they do with the
lumberjack.
Yeah, the goal celebration. But yeah, I was really disappointed, and I was really rooting for Portland too because I have like a personal thing against NYC. But yeah, it was just weird.
Yeah.
So in other words, there's a bunch of hipsters trying to just go to games.
Yeah.
They just show up when they win.
I've been to Providence Park. It's a great stadium.
Yeah.
I stood in the supporter section, and this guy next to me like asked me where I was from. I just said I was from LA, and then he just started going off on me about LAFC, like just assuming I was an LAFC fan. And he's like, "You guys, no history, none." And I was just like standing there, just like I had no idea what to say. Like I didn't want to get into it. Like I was there with my girlfriend and her family, and I was just kind of standing there and I'm listening to this guy like.
No, I'm not from LA. I'm from the Valley.
That's how he claimed the Valley.
No.
You didn't hear me. I'm from the Valley, not LA.
That's not.
Shout out to the Valley.
No. That's not what happened. We kept it neutral. We kept it, under. Like I was able to de-escalate, but that's not what happened. For the record,
only Ramsey would de-escalate a situation like that.
Yeah. It could have gone two ways, and it went the better of the two ways. So I'm,
Such a professional.
Yeah, you just got to keep things professional.
What a Valley guy.
Yeah, just
Such a Valley thing to do.
Yeah. We're just mellow. We're just mellow out there. It's too hot to be.
I'm sure it's terrible right now.
Yeah. Oh, it's been rough. But Eli, thank you so much for taking the time to come chop it up with us. For Julio Monterosa, Bridget Flores, Eli Lesser, This Week in MLS. Follow him on all platforms, especially Twitter. I'm Ramsey Abishala. Keep it tapped in. We got more stuff coming for y'all. But until then, we're out of here.